I am Ramin Mostafavi, as stated. That's a Iranian name, so fuck you too. Dead silence. That's good. That's what I'm used to. It's a nice, fun, scary stereotype to play with, to say you're Iranian, you know, because a minute ago you're at a comedy show and now you're just trapped in a theater, and that's sort of my superpower. But and that's the media. It's not your fault. You're intelligent people, you know, most likely, and it's not your fault. The media wants you to think that everybody from the Middle East should be misogynistic and oppressive and abusive, you know. And I was married to an American woman for 11 years, and she'd disagree with all that if I allowed her to have her own opinions, that's a joke and a stereotype. Don't walk out of here with that as fact. I'm teasing. My wives are happy. I was married. That's a past tense verb. I was married 11 years. We did okay. We had 3 kids together. You know, got divorced like a lot of people do. Not the worst way either. It was peaceful because we had issues with each other that were very similar. You know, like she has OCD, right? So little noises really bothered her, and apparently the way I ate popcorn was unlivable. All right, because apparently I don't just reach in and grab the kernels. It seems that I reach in and then I sift. Right? Like a selfish bastard, right? But luckily, you know, it was sort of the same, where she'd wait for me to go out of town and have sex with a coworker. So, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard that noise before, but pretty irritating. So, no, I'm kidding. As far as you know, that's a joke. And
I like seeing, like, different people, man, different groups, right? Because right now we got too much hate, I think, in this country. It's a lot of hate. I say they got, like, hate groups now. Groups of hate. You want to join a group of hate? Would you like, come join our group. We hate that. You want to join our group? They had a list of the hate groups. It's like 85 anti-Semitic groups, like 95, 100, like over 100 anti-black groups. There's one group, just general hate. Do you know how much you gotta hate to just not even pick a thing to hate? We gonna freelance hate. We just gonna hate everybody. Ask other people, y'all need some help hating? We'll help you out if you want some help. It's too much. It's too much energy to hate, man. Sometimes I forget. You ever see somebody, like at work or something, you don't like them? They wave, you wave back like, God damn it. Yeah, I forgot that I don't like you, man. Please don't come over. Ah, shit. Because that's what happens when you work. And I work in the office. That's what happens. The people that you hate the most talk to you the most in your office. They always come by your desk. I don't like Jake. I'll say it in front of the camera. I don't like you, Jake. I'm gonna get fired after this. I don't like Jake. Jake always comes by my desk. He always has something to say. I don't say anything to Jake. I don't say anything bad to Jake. It's too confrontational at work. Here's what I do. I write an email to myself. You ever do that? You ever write a draft email to yourself? You don't say, you just write it, right? Jake comes over, I write, hey Jake, get the fuck away from my desk. Before I kill you and your whole family. Save. I got 5 pages on Jake. You don't send it. I don't send it. I just hold on to it for like 2 weeks. Then I read it. I'll go, yeah, I was crazy that day. I almost killed Jake and his whole family. I don't want to get too crazy in the office, man. It's only one black dude that works there. It's me. It's other ones, they get hired, they get let go real quick though. It's like their first office job. I've been there for a while, so anytime they're about to fire the new black guy, they come to me to go talk to him. Like I'm the nigga whisperer, like I'm supposed to help them figure out how to act in the office. They come talk, hey Tim, can we get you to go talk to Too Sweet? This time, just get him on board with his business attire, will you? I go talk to Two. Hey T, hey Sherrod, look man, you can't wear canary yellow suits in the office. Why? Because you scared white people in here, that's why. It's not business attire. He always comes back. Look, man, my uncle used to wear this shit. He was a businessman. Your uncle was a pimp. That's right, he was a pimp. You are scaring all of these white people in here. One of my friends was like, yo, you know what you should do? Black History Month, you should tell the white people in your life how they messing up. That's what you're supposed to do. I was like, all right, I can do that all month. I can do that every day. Let's not leave it for February. But one of my friends was like, hey man, is it racist if I get my oil changed on Martin Luther King's birthday? I said, no, it's not. But you know what's racist? Asking a black person if it's racist. You just equated one of my greatest leaders with car care. Are you serious?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here. Thanks for coming. I'm Wendy, and I'm going to do Asian comedy for everybody. Don't worry, it's just like regular comedy, but quieter. So you just got to listen up. I am half Asian, half Polish, since you're wondering. Thank you. Thank you, sir. My sister is surprisingly also half Asian, half Polish. And she married a half Asian, half Polish man because our family doesn't believe in interracial dating. So it's been hard for me to find a match. I'm on that website, half Asian, half Polish.com, that I started. But so far, just my sister and her husband are on it. And the dates have been awkward. I'm like, I don't think it's gonna work out. I am a comedian despite being an Asian female. I got a note from my doctor, said I could do it. I don't have a strong connection to my race or my gender because I spend a lot of time alone in the woods, where race and gender are not a factor. I often forget that I'm a girl until I'm talking to a man and he's not listening to me. And I always forget that I'm Asian until an ugly white guy hits on me. I'm just like, dude, I'm part white. I can tell you're ugly, so you gotta try that shit on someone else. If you're not laughing right now, you're an ugly white guy.
No, I'm excited. You guys are out on a Saturday afternoon. Hell yeah. I'm excited to be out on a Saturday. I'm just excited. Because after Trump won, I didn't know. I didn't know if I could be out or not. I'm smart about it, though. I'm smart about it. Anytime I got to go somewhere now, I call someone that's already there. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, you see any Latinos walking around? Yeah, okay, I'm coming. Because they're trying to get rid of us. I thought I was being smart. I grew a beard to blend in. Yeah. And then, Muslim ban. Have some sympathy for me, please. Got pushed into road rage on my way over here. Anybody ever been pushed into road rage? Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay, you ever been at a red light and the light turns green and the car in front of you doesn't go? But then the car behind you beeps at him? And you just left in the middle explaining the shit? Yeah, I did one of these. I was like, oh no, it's that guy. But then they got mad because it looked like I said, ain't you gonna move, motherfucker? We got people waiting back here.
I've been doing comedy for a couple years now, and I feel like the longer I do it, the more my perspectives on certain things keep changing. Like, for example, before I started doing comedy, when I heard the words Comic Sans, I used to think, oh, delightfully wacky font that I can use in PowerPoint presentations and passive-aggressive notes to my coworkers. And now whenever I hear the words Comic Sans, I just think of all the shit comics don't have. Like primary care physicians and committed relationships with other people. So I'm single.
I usually get backhanded compliments. Like, I was out with a friend of mine. She turned 24. I am way past 24. I was like, it's been a good more than 10 years since I've seen 24. I'm out there on her 24th birthday. The oldest person in this crew. We went to a bar. The bartender looked at everybody's ID, and he looked at mine last, and he was like, "Good for you, man." Yo, that hurt, man. That just made me, that was the nicest way anybody ever said, "You old ass bitch. You don't belong here. Go home." That hurt. Like, it made me think about all the stuff I'm too old to do. The number one thing I thought about, dick pics. Yes, there's a cutoff age. You got to stop sending dick pics at a certain point. And I realized there's a cutoff age because I thought about the first one that I ever took. It was so long ago, I took it with a real camera. No smartphone, a real camera. I had to take a memory card out of a camera. I had to put it into a computer. I had to upload my dick so that someone could download my dick. And this was back in the AOL dial-up days, so the shit took forever. So it was like, shh, loading. Ladies, it is still loading, ladies. It is still loading. Oh, yeah, it is still loading. Oh, okay. All right, that was a dick joke within a dick joke, by the way. I just hit y'all with dickception.
All right. No, you guys have been a fantastic audience. I just want to say that up front. It's been so great. I think this is a cool thing that you guys are doing. This is a neat activity. Yeah. Watching me is very cool. No, I like sort of off the beaten path things like this. Like, any of you guys been to an escape room? Okay, well, if you've been, or if you haven't been, I highly recommend it. I went to an escape room, and I gotta say, by far the most fun I have ever had farting. By far. Because you're locked in a room with just you and your friends. So you get a fart and just be like, "Guys, was that a clue?" What are they trying to tell us? What else? I went to a haunted corn maze, it was very fun, but not a business venture that I could have come up with. Like, I think what happened was there was a guy and he was like, "Hey, you've got all these vegetables and I like to lunge at children. So I think we can make some money." But really what it is, I like those kind of things because I feel just uncomfortable in a lot of social situations. Like, parties really stress me out because there's a lot of pressure to have fun at parties. And I'm not a fun-looking guy. Like, I got real droopy eyes and shitty posture. I think I come off as sad to people. Like, when I'm at a party, the thing I get asked by far the most is, "Are you okay?" I'm just standing there with a beer. People are like, "Dude, hang in there. You'll get through this." And then I get in my head, and I'm like, "What? Why don't they am I ugly? Maybe." And you don't want to be ugly. You don't, because people don't treat you well. Like, I think being an ugly person is sort of the social equivalent of being sprayed by a skunk. Like it's not your fault, but you can't come into my house. That's not me, that's other people. I'm nice. And then I have to learn so many names, and it's just I am bad at learning names, but I don't think it's my fault. Because everybody teaches you their name the exact same way. "Hi, I'm Nick." That's boring. That's teaching people your name badly. So what I do to try to stand out is I go, "Hi, I'm Nick." Sorry for you guys. And I guarantee you, if you ask those people in a month, they could tell you, "Oh yeah, Nick made me uncomfortable." I don't like Nick.
So now I'm traveling, I'm doing shows all across the country, man. I just did a show in Gainesville, Virginia, guys. I don't want to brag, but I'm out here, you know what I mean? I did the show. Don't go to Gainesville, it's a terrible place, you know what I mean? Is anyone from Gainesville? I should have asked that before I took that. Now, I had some time to kill before the show, so I did the show in Gainesville. I wanted to hit up a local Starbucks. Got a macchiato. That's my favorite drink. Got the macchiato. Didn't taste that good, so I returned it. I was like, hey, this don't really taste macchiato-ish. The lady was like, oh, if you don't like it, why don't you go back to where you came from? And I was like, you want me to go back to Silver Spring, Maryland? What? I guess what she was implying was for me to go back to Iran, the country that my family's from, a place that I've never been to or even speak the language, man. I gotta be honest with you guys. I got more in common with the 30-year-old white woman than I do with the guy who lives in Iran. So I did what any white woman would do in that situation. I asked to speak with the supervisor, you feel me? Turns out she was a supervisor, and so I emailed the district manager, you know what I mean? Try to get her sent back to where she came from. Turns out she was from Gainesville, Virginia, guys. You know what I mean? You can't win with everybody.
In the short time that I've done comedy, I see some comedians feeling like they need to be more poignant than funny. And for me, that's a failure. I think we need to be funny first. And also you can make a point too, but very often I see comedians going, I'm making a speech and a point now. Think like me. And if nobody laughs, it's like, great. And I don't necessarily disagree with you, but you've totally failed at being a comedian. So that I'm particular on that. I don't like seeing comics just trying to be smart. It annoys me. Be funny and smart. Over 2.
I think it's like, especially in DC, it's especially you definitely need to be smart and funny. Like you there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. I did not phrase that the right way. I did not start off in a way. Basically, like I feel like I've done like a lot of like different scenes, and I feel like DC, like you definitely need to have intelligent comedy in order to like get booked and continue to get booked, because the audience is there, like expect it. You know, so.
Well, to that point, DC is, as far as understanding what can be funny, you have to kind of give them, like she said, be smart, but not like give them too many details about a certain thing, because they know that thing, and they'll correct you and not laugh.
Yeah, that's
So you kind of give them just enough to be funny.
Yeah, because you can be in a room and it's like half the room will have like master's degrees or like
Right.
or like doctorates or something,
Yeah.
and then like okay, so yeah, so I'm like fart jokes might not fly tonight, so yeah, so
Right.
I don't know.
They're quickly
I'm doing
quickly
fart jokes.
disagree.
They fly,
Yeah.
but they gotta be clever fart jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They disagree with you.
We just gotta read the room.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
But,
yeah.
but
that's decent.
the other part is like, the political environment is important, and I think probably everyone up here, at some point in your set, like, you know, I have a Middle Eastern heritage. I'm not even full Iranian, I'm half.
Boy.
But
Relax, Texas.
I do
Why did I say that?
I do very little comedy about being Middle Eastern, but I have to recognize it at some point. Just because it's not exactly an elephant in the room, but first of all, it's kind of easy when you have a card to play. Like, terrorist. But I can't not recognize it either. You can't be introduced as Ramin Mostafavi and just be like, here's a joke, to all my jokes, and I never recognize culture. The other reason I like to recognize it is because all you generally see on TV about the Middle East is this terrorist, this abusive husband, and so I like to represent somebody that's of a given culture and generally seen as a high threat level, who's just a goofy ass like everybody else. So I like to say, hey, by the way, I'm Iranian, but I'm just an idiot like you guys.
Right. To his point, I had that issue when I started too, in the way where I was just trying to do Latino jokes, and at one point I was like, but I have all these other ideas. That I grew up here. I grew up in America. So although inside my house we were Latino, outside the house I was American. So I have all these other ideas for jokes and things that I've come up with that are not necessarily Latino, but I wasn't doing them because I was thought in my head that I was forced to only do Latino jokes until one day I just got out of it. So I do both now.
I think that's experience too.
Yeah.
You know, I think early on you do play your easiest cards.
Right.
I think in
Yeah.
the beginning,
wanna
generally
get to funny.
speaking,
You wanna get to the
you
funny
go
quick.
sex jokes, you do my culture funny jokes,
Yeah.
and then as I've proceeded in my hour, I might do maybe 6 minutes on being Middle Eastern or Muslim or anything like that. You know, I'll drop it in here and there if I find a funny moment to mention something. But
I also get really, really annoyed at any comic that is plainly one thing and does that one thing. Like a fat comic. An hour of fat jokes. I'm like, all right. You know, what else?
Go on a diet. You'll be out of the game.
Or, you know, it's seen everywhere. Black comic, all black jokes. Or gay comic, all gay jokes. It's just, oof. Have you lived anything else? Or is that your entire identity? And if so, I'm kind of sorry about that, but I just doubt that that's the case. I think it's just not thinking past what's so easy to make people laugh about.
Yeah, because it is easy. When I first, and even now, I write black, white people jokes all the time.
All
it just happens. Black people, we leaving? What's up? We were supposed to leave, wasn't we? We was all supposed to. My friends was like, yo, man, if Trump gets in office, I'm moving to Canada. These white people are going crazy. Really? White people are going, you want to move to a whiter country? Really? Canada? Do you know they ski in the summertime, right? You know they ski? Are you out of your mind? Canadians don't want us in Canada. I've never seen a commercial for Canada on BT. I've never seen that shit. Come to Canada, eh? Would you, Jamal? Come on. Your name Jamal? I was about to go play the lottery for this. I haven't played in a while. I haven't played the lottery in a while. That's what I'm doing. I'm saving my money, so I'm playing the lottery. That's what I'm doing. That's my plan. That's my 401k. Win the lottery. You can believe in the government if you want to. I'm playing the lottery. Last time I played, 1.6 billion. You remember that? Everybody played when it was 1.6. Donald Trump played when it was 1.6 billion. I didn't win. I'd be in Jamaica right now if I won that lottery. I had plans for the money. That's the best part of playing the lottery, making plans with the money. I had plans. I was going to turn Republican. I was going to move to Fairfax and learn how to swim, you know what I'm saying? Just take care of number 2. I didn't win. Shit. A lot of people say they'll quit their job if they win the lottery. I'm never quitting. I'm going to work and I'm tormenting my coworkers until they fire me. I'm showing up every day, sweatpants, limo and shit, floating around on the hoverboard. I just wrote that joke to make that noise. Winning the lottery, man. Oof. Let me take one back. I don't think I would learn how to swim. I would just have somebody hold my stomach while I'm doggy paddling. Because that's what making all that money is about. Making other grown people do bitch shit for you. If I had 1.6 billion, I could pay somebody, hey man, hold my stomach while I doggy paddle. Okay, sir.
Nah, man, I'm at that stage in my life where like half my friends are settling down, they're getting married, and then the other half of my friends are trying to get me invested in their weed edible startup company. Like, hey, dog, for $5,000, we can make this happen. I'm like, bro, if I had $5,000, I wouldn't be at Costco eating samples with you right now. Why would you even suggest that shit? That's fucked up, man. We're roommates off Craigslist. We don't even have $5,000. Why? I feel like the only people that want to go back to high school are people who were popular who then became personal trainers. That's it. I mean, and I don't want to diss personal trainers because I'll be honest, man, I recently got a personal trainer. And I think personal trainers are only valuable if they're in better shape than you. If they're not, then don't hire them. It's a true story. My guy, his name is Gary. When I met Gary, I felt like he was going through a midlife crisis because he was sad and overweight. I met him at LA Fitness. He's like, hey, Martin, are you ready to do this? I'm like, Gary, are you ready to do this, dog? You look sad as shit right now. You got a Dorito stain on your shirt, bro. What the fuck? Now I gotta cheer Gary up. I didn't sign up for that, you know what I mean? I'm like, come on, Gary, we got this. He's like, okay. Now I got this overweight guy trying to motivate me like he's DJ Khaled. I'm like, come on. He's like, we the best. I'm like, no, bro, you're fat. You need to chill out, you know what I mean? But I was struggling. So in that moment, Gary put his hands on my waist and lifted me, right? Now, I don't know if any guy here has been lifted by the waist before, but I felt majestic as fuck, all right? I felt like on an NBA champions. Hell yeah, Gary, we did that shit, you know what I mean? A lot of guys don't like laughing at that joke because that's their Me Too moment. They're like, nah, dog, only you get lifted by the waist, not me. Yeah. I don't want to make jokes about the Me Too movement, man. The Me Too movement is a very serious issue right now. Like this smoke machine, too. That's another serious issue we got tonight, you know what I mean? That's a problem. We should get that, it's not on the budget, but it's okay. Yeah. Now, the Me Too movement, man, I think everyone needs to be held accountable for their actions, especially my favorite rappers from the early 2000s. Like, my favorite rapper growing up was a guy named Mystical. Now, I don't know if you guys remember Mystical, but he had a song back in the day called Shake That Ass. For those who know, if you don't remember the song, the opening line of the song was, I walked in the club with my dick in my hand. That's a problem, Mystical. You can't start off a song like that and expect no questions to be asked, you know what I mean? You're on probation for sexual harassment, You're snitching on yourself right now, dog. My second favorite rapper was a guy named Juvenile. Now, sir, I don't know if you heard Juvenile before, but he had an urban. That's after your time. That's right. He had a hit song called "Back That Ass Up." You know what I mean? That's a great song. You should Google it. You know what I mean? I think you'll have some fun with that. You know what I mean? Work on some twerk moves. For those who know who remember that song, the chorus of the song went like this: like, "Girl, you look good once you back that ass up. You can call me Big Daddy when you." That's right. We've all been to a high school dance before. All right, it's good. The problem with that song of 2018, that title's problematic. We can't have songs called Back That Ass Up, you know what I mean? We gotta change it, you know what I mean? Now it should be called Back That Ass Up If You Want To, right? I'm here for you emotionally. If you wanna go to college, I will back that ass up, you know what I mean? All day. That's what I'm saying, you know what I mean?
But some people use music for evil, for bad. Like, I think whistling is inherently musical, but some people use it to catcall women. And I could never do that. I couldn't. Just because I whistle way too beautifully. It would just be confusing. A woman's coming out and I'm like... And then all these little birds and baby deer start coming, and I'm like, what are you doing? I'm trying to minimize her. Get out of here, you woodland creatures. Trying to ruin her lunch break. Some people I know that are 22 are having babies already, which is, I don't know why. The only reason I would want a baby at this age is because I just graduated college. And so I didn't join a frat or anything like that. So I never got to haze anybody. And I just think a baby would be perfect. Because they fall asleep right in the middle of the day. So you could draw a dick on them. And they won't notice for years. Oh, if I have kids, I'm going to teach them so much shit that's a little wrong, just to mess with them. Those noisemaker things on New Year's? You know what I'm talking about? Those. First of all, I don't know why those exist. Were people having trouble making noise on New Year's? It was the ball would drop and they were like, 3, 2, 1. And the guy's like, all right, we got something for this. No, but I'm going to teach my kids that the way you use those is that you hold the big part and just spin the little part. Everybody else is going to be like, woo! And they're going to be like, you're doing that wrong. You're going to wear out the ball bearing. And they're going to be like, it's a birthmark. It's not a dick.
Everybody here, if you have not done this yet, you need to go check out the African American History Museum. You need to see it with your own 2 eyes. Check out the Blacksonian if you've not seen it already, because it's amazing. You need to see the Blacksonian. But one thing you need to know if you have not done that yet, that place is massive. It is huge. It's an all-day trip. It's the first floor alone takes 2 hours to get through. You're 2 hours in and you're still in slavery. That's how big this museum is. Yeah, seriously. I found out the hard way because I went in there on a Sunday morning and I had been drinking the Saturday before, so I had a hangover. And so I'm walking through the museum with my friends and I wanted to say, hey, let's slow down, take a break. I'm getting tired. But then I started looking at the pictures on the wall and on the other wall, and I'm like, this is the last place on earth I should complain about being tired. Because I'm looking at pictures of people who marched from Selma, Alabama to Juneau, Alaska in church shoes. And they didn't complain about anything. So if I complain about being tired here, I'm gonna get haunted by a civil rights ghost when I get home. I'm gonna wake up to the sounds of, I didn't know you was a bitch, once I get home. Dr. King's gonna call me out. Oh, man. But I got to do a show for the Make-A-Wish Foundation recently too, and that was awesome. Made me think about it was cool. It made me think about when I was a kid, the celebrity I would have wanted to meet if I was one of those sick kids is not who I'd want to meet now. Because if you'd asked me at like age 5, what famous person do you want to meet more than anybody else? My number one answer, Hulk Hogan. Yeah, come to find out Hulk Hogan's racist as shit. I don't want to meet Hulk, and Hulk probably doesn't want to meet me either. But it's crazy. We found out Hulk was racist because he won this lawsuit against Gawker. He's like, he won $100 million in this lawsuit. And that wasn't the amazing part that he won. He won money. Like what was amazing is he won this lawsuit and he wore a do-rag to court every day to trial. Like, think about it. For someone who says the N-word as much as Hulk Hogan, that's the blackest shit you can do in your life. That shit is so black that black people, we can't do it. If I go to court and I'm wearing a do-rag, my lawyer's gonna be like, oh, we're pleading guilty today, huh? Because you already know, but I feel some kind of way, I feel conflicted because I feel like Hulk Hogan will be the greatest white supremacist of all time, man. Like Hulk is so charismatic, I would sneak into a Klan rally just to watch him speak. That's how, I just want to see Hulk on stage cutting a promo like, you know what, brother? What you gonna do when Hulkamania gets racist on you? I'd be into that shit. Like, yeah, Hulk, let's get this. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot I was black for a second. Oh, well. Man, the real white supremacists, though, they could have used his leadership. They needed his guidance, man, for real. They were out there marching in Charlottesville with AR-15s and citronella tiki torches and shit, just ready for niggas and mosquitoes at the same time and shit.
I have a lot of friends who are married now and having kids. I would like to be married one day just so I can have the dual income to afford my friends' wedding gifts now, because that shit is getting out of control. I was on my friend's register the other day, and I'm looking at it like, you want a $600 blender? You don't even do CrossFit, fuck you. Let me see you do a box jump first before I take out a loan to buy you a Vitamix. It's bullshit. I was one of 2 black people at this wedding, which is pretty much par for the course for all the weddings that I go to now. So naturally, when the electric slide started, everybody crowded behind the 2 of us to lead the dance. And I was like, we should have just made up moves just to fuck with these people. Because they don't know. Like, we've been out there like 1, 2, 2, in, out, pivot, and give the nearest black person reparations. Like, what? You don't know this part? It is always after the pivot turn. Has anybody out here had somebody try to sell you weird shit on public transportation before? Seeing a couple of nods. Like, that happened to me a couple weeks ago. I had a dude with no teeth try to sell me panties on the train. And I remember just walking away, just feeling so enraged, like, you don't fucking buy Subway panties from the dude with no teeth. All right, you buy your Subway panties from the dude with no eyes, all right? That man is intimately acquainted with the fabrics. And he knows what the fuck he's talking about. I was on the train the other day, and this guy sidled up next to me, and he was like, oh, can I talk to you in Jesus' name? And I was like, all right, this is a standard Subway evangelist. I will humor him for a couple minutes. I'm only 3 stops away. So I turned to him, and I'm like, all right, sure, dude, what do you want to talk about? And the next thing out of his mouth was, do you have a husband in Jesus' name? And I was like, whoa, is this how guys are doing it now? Because this is not a fortune cookie. Like, you can't just add in Jesus' name at the end whatever you're saying, and it means something different. Because the next thing out of his mouth was, can I take you out to dinner in Jesus' name? I was like, I don't know, is it on his tab? I'm like, that wine better be fucking free, I know that much.
And when they're saying, I'm blessed, become the new I'm okay. That's all people say now, right? I'm blessed. How you doing? I'm blessed. And people always feel blessed for the simplest things. It's like, how you doing? I woke up this morning, I'm blessed. It's like, really? You woke up? That was your bar? Like last night when you went to sleep, were you afraid? Did you have to think about it for a while? It's like, I don't know if I should do it. I might not wake up. You're not blessed. I don't know, man. Dating is so hard. But now, it's so easy, right? They got all these websites and apps. You can just find anybody you want. Some websites are weird. The one that gets me the most, christianmingle.com. Because they're supposed to have faith. Like if God wants you to find someone, he's going to eventually put him in your life. He's not going to put him on a website and be like, here, pick one. You're blessed. It don't work that way. There's a new one that is funny. It's called It's Just Lunch. Yeah, it's just lunch. And it's designed for professionals that are too busy to date. I don't know who the fuck is too busy to date. But and so what they do is they get them and they send them on a lunch or for drinks, and it's a service, and it's called It's Just Lunch. And I was thinking, like, who the fuck is that for? Like, I don't need help with lunch. Like, I know how to go to lunch. I'm pretty good at getting someone to go with me. It's the stuff after I need help with. Like, if it was called It's Just Getting Laid, I'd be like, yeah. That's what I need. It's just getting laid. Where do I sign up? It's just fucking. Yes, that's my site. They don't have that. At least not here. I think Vegas has that cornered. So easy to date. You know what's hard? Breaking up. No app for that shit. Right? You can't go on no website and be like, hey, Steve says no, he'll not see you no more. And then you're like, oh, well. No. That's hard, man, breaking up. You ever try to break up with someone that doesn't want to break up? And that's like a 3-day conversation, eh? And when you're in a relationship, why do people get upset when you find someone before you break up with them? Why do people get upset? Think they call it cheating or something. But why do they get upset? Like you never quit your job before having another one. Right? You do your research. You go on your interview. You put in your 2 weeks. It'd be cool if you could put in 2 weeks with your girl. Just walk up to her and hand her a letter. And here you go, baby. It's my 2 weeks. Go ahead, read it. It's all in there. I deeply regret. I thank you for all the experiences and wish you luck in all your future endeavors. Call me if you need a reference. I give good references. I'm like, yeah, she likes anal. That's something good on your resume. Guys will be like, okay, I could employ her. Oh. But breaking up is hard, man. Recently, like, girl broke up with me recently. I didn't want to believe it. You know, and there's some things that you don't want to believe when somebody breaks up with you, right? But there's always an event that lets you know, yeah, it's over. There's always an event that lets you know, yeah, this is it, right? For me, she changed her Netflix password. And that's when I knew that it was over. She changed the Netflix password, man. I was like, oh, okay. She's serious. I was like, this is real. No, because like I saw the signs, right? I saw the signs. She wasn't returning my text. And I was like, oh, she's just mad, just mad. And then she like blocked me from her phone. So I was like, oh, okay, she's really mad. And then I saw her on a date with a new guy. And I was like, it's just lunch. But then she changed the Netflix password. And I was like, oh no. And you can't just lose that connection, You don't know, Stranger Things? I mean, you gotta know what happens in the Upside Down. You can't be out there with no Netflix. Shoot, I was watching Narcos. I was like, oh man.
I wear a lot of children's clothing, which people find very weird. They don't like it. But what's the big deal? Children's clothing is cheaper and more whimsical, right? They got funny bows, vegetable prints. You can't find this in adult clothing. Also, am I an extra small woman? Or am I an extra large girl? If you think about it. Or am I a medium boy? Because I can fit in all those sizes. And if you look in my closet, it's mostly medium boys' clothes. They fit my chest perfectly. I wear children's underwear sometimes, which out of context sounds bad, so please don't just record that part and play it for the FBI or something, but hear me out. I ordered them online, brand new. Extra, extra large, and they're too big. I overshot a little bit when I ordered them, so I've been doing squats every day to try to grow my butt to match that of an extra, extra large child. It's not getting anywhere close. Underwear very large on me. They have days of the week on them, which I enjoy, but I can never manage to wear on the correct day. It's too complicated. But if you wear the wrong one, if you just wait, corrects itself, right? I recently drove across the country. I drove from DC to LA. My boyfriend moved to California, so I dropped him off. Peace out. It took 5 days to drive across the country. When I was in the car with him for 5 days, I fantasized about running away a couple times, but you cannot run away in the Midwest, so do not try it in Oklahoma or Texas, okay? Because the other person can see you.
The dating game is, it's fun. I dip in and I try to find different sorts of people. Confidence is a big deal for me these days. A confident woman, I don't find that all the time, but when I do, I think it's special. I find the highest level of confidence in black women for some reason. The black community, whatever they're doing, I got some representatives here this evening. It doesn't matter what room you're in. Like, all black women just think they're sexy, and it makes you think they're sexy. It's like a marketing program. It's very impressive. You should be in a room like this, be like, where are my black women at? Where are my sexy black women at? You're going to get the same amount of applause on both sides. You can be like, where are my sexy white women at? You're going to get, I'm having kind of a fat day. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel gross today because Scotty bought me this shirt, and every time I wear it, I feel disgusting because Scotty said I was a large, but I really feel like I'm a medium. Do you know what I'm saying? Black women are like, fuck Scotty, this shit is delicious. You want to say what I'm saying to you? Scotty don't know shit about shit. It's hot, man. I dated a Latina that was very sexy. I think the Spanish language can make anything sexy. Like when I was in college, I took Spanish when I was in high school and college, and I was pretty good at it, to be honest with you. I got Oz and Bez the whole time I was in there. And then one of the things we did, we translated children's books from English to Spanish, and in so doing, I realized that Spanish can change anything into being sexy. Like, I could read you a whimsical story about a well-known children's character named Curious George, or I could read you a sexy action adventure starring Jorge El Curioso, who's a fucking badass. Come on, that's a fuckable monkey, you guys. And it happens with every character like that. You gotta have a summer blockbuster starring Antonio Banderas and Jorge El Curioso with his sidekick, Clifford, El Perro Rojo y Grande, who's so hot. Come on. You got to be sensitive, you know, all these cultural differences. You got to be sensitive, and I think it's okay to be sensitive. Like I boycotted my favorite fast food restaurant for 6 years. I didn't go to Chick-fil-A for 6 years, regardless of how amazing their spicy chicken sandwich waffle fry combo is, and it is amazing. But they outwardly funded groups that were funding anti-gay rights, anti-gay marriage, and I didn't want to give them my money, you know, so I stopped going for 6 years. But it was tough, because I do believe in everyone's right to live with equal rights, you know, but I also believe in a spicy chicken sandwich with waffle fries. But I didn't want to give them my money because I didn't want to support it. It'd be like if the KKK came out with a homemade chicken noodle soup, and I love chicken noodle soup, you know, and I could hear their ads on the radio, right? It'd be like, try the new KKK chicken noodle soup. We use premium chunks of white meat. Just like the United States of America. Our soup is best when it's full of crackers. Like, how good? How good does that sound? But I didn't go, and I didn't go for 6 years, and I love it over there. I think they have amazing service, you know. But I started going to Arby's because I think Arby's is not just liberal. I think they're pro-gay based on a few of my findings. Number one, you're never going to meet a straight man named Arby. That's for sure. That's for sure. This is my friend Arby. That's all you're ever going to hear. All right? And then look at their fry selection. Straight and curly, right there on the menu. They've got the gayest condiment in the history of fast food, horsey sauce. You ever heard of that? That's like a training camp for the homosexual speech impediment. You can't even say horsey sauce and not sound gay, you guys. Be the toughest man in the world and roll in there and be like, I want a roast beef sandwich, large fried Coke, and some horsey sauce. Just give me the sauce. That's so, sometimes I open a packet and I just squirt it all over my face. I love it. Oh, and what's Arby's latest motto? We have the meat. That's the dead giveaway. That's it. That's pretty gay. I don't know. We have the meat. That's like a gay pickup line. I don't know about the we part. I don't know how gay people have sex, but according to the one video I saw, it's a whole bunch of them at once. So that's the one. You ever seen that? You ever done that? Where you're like, you never accidentally clicked on the one gay video and then watched the whole thing and come? You've never, you know what I mean? Like all the other dicks are doing it, I'm in. You've never done that? I'll send you the link. It's a lot of dicks. That's actually the name of the clip. A lot of dicks.
Your suspicions are correct. I did go to medical school for a little while. I went for 2 years, which I don't recommend. It's not useful for anything. There's no job looking for that qualification. If anything, I need to hide that off a resume. It looks bad. I got kicked out halfway through, but I stopped going like way before that. So who really won that battle? Right? I was like, you can't kick me out. I don't even go here. I kicked you out of my life because you were a giant bummer. Except for the part where I cut up a human. That was pretty cool. I've cut a penis in half. Long ways. And short ways. So don't fuck with me. When I dropped out, I didn't tell my parents immediately because why would you do that? That's stupid, right? So when they came to visit me in my apartment, I still had to wake up at 8 a.m., put on my med school's coat, my stethoscope, my knee hammer, my tuning fork, and my backpack, and just leave the apartment and walk around the city for 3 hours in a med student costume. I was bored, so I would offer my services to people on the street. I'd be like, oh, sir, hello. I went to medical school for 2 years. I can tell you what's wrong with you, but I can't tell you what to do about it. Okay? You definitely have a Lyme disease rash. Look that up on WebMD. All I can do for you is cut your penis in half. So choose long ways or short ways. We'll get started. After I dropped out of med school, I worked in a deli making sandwiches. In the interview, they were like, can you cut things in half? I was like,
So I do use the journalism degree. I do write for a living, which means I use Microsoft Word a lot. You guys ever been using Microsoft Word and that red squiggly line comes up underneath stuff that's incorrect? Yeah. Why don't we have that for people yet? Why is that not a thing? Like why can't I be like on a date that's like going south and all of a sudden the dude is just like bathed in this red light? Then when I press on it, like a dialogue box comes up that's like, this man thinks the transition between both and Vivs on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was seamless. Ignore all. I'm like, fuck no, I'm not ignoring that. That is egregious. I do like my apartment. They actually just started allowing tenants to have dogs in the building now, which is cool, right? I was sharing an elevator with one of my neighbors. He has a pit bull, and I leaned down to his dog, and I was like, oh, your dog's really cute. What's his name? And he was like, oh yeah, his name is Ciroc. And I was like the vodka Ciroc? And he was like, yeah, like the vodka. And I was like, all right, first of all, props to you for not just copping out and calling him Mad Dog 2020, because that was the obvious name choice there. But I feel like Ciroc is kind of an expensive vodka. Like, if I'm gonna name my dogs after booze, it's gonna be after booze I can afford. All right, that way, when I'm in an elevator with my 2 dogs, a random lady can come up to me and be like, oh my God, they're so cute. What are their names? I'm like, oh, thank you. The boxer is named Franzia. And the Shih Tzu is named Vanilla Extract. Say hi, Vanilla. Hi. Oh, Vanilla likes you.
I am mixed though. My mom is actually for real from Bolivia, and my dad's from Iran. And like doing shows in DC, people always like, yo, how does that even happen? I'm like, my parents fucked. That's what happened. There's no science behind it. You know what I mean? Like, wow, that's amazing. Which side do I identify with more, your Iranian side or your Bolivian side? I'm like, well, it depends on what Donald Trump's talking about this week, because that shit can go either way. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? Because if he's talking about the Muslim ban, yo, I'm Bolivian as fuck. All right. But if you're talking about building the wall, yo, I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland. Leave me alone, you know what I mean? I know it's been talked about tonight, man, but Donald Trump, it's just tough. I knew things were bad for Middle Easterns last year. It's not a really good time for us. No one's buying our mixtapes, you know what I mean? Stock is down right now, you know what I mean? And I knew things were bad when they announced the Muslim ban last year, because that was pretty scary, mainly because my dad was actually in Iran when they announced it. And I remember my dad hitting me up on Facebook the next day, like, son, what are we going to do? And I'm like, what are we gonna do? Shit, I'm gonna ride this out the next 4 years and work hard to try to blend in, dog. You need to stop messaging me on Facebook, because this relationship is over. Shit, you better go on jcrew.com and invest in some flannel shirts, Fred. It's a wrap, dog. I don't want you guys to worry about my dad. Don't worry, he got back in the country safely. He did change his name to Fred, though. My dad's name is Farouz Amini. He's like, you can call me Fred now. I'm like, Dad, you look like Borat. You're not fooling anybody. You're hairy as shit. For real, my dad's super hairy. He's got to pluck his eyebrows twice before he goes to the airport, because you can't have a unibrow and be Iranian and expect not to be suspicious, because even if you smile with the unibrow, now you just look like a happy guy who's plotting at that point. You know what I mean? That's not a good look. That's not a good look. But we gotta figure out a way to make it happen, come together. I remember after the 2017, my family it's a polarizing time. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, I know a lot of people in my family, they're not in support of our current president, but I do have family that does support Trump, which is really awkward because my Aunt Delia, she's from Bolivia, big Trump supporter. So one day I just asked her, I was like, Tia Delia, why would you support Donald Trump? She's like, honestly, I just don't want my family to visit. I was like, yo, that's the realest shit I ever heard in my life.
I attended the Latino rallies recently. Anybody go to Latino rallies? Okay, wait. Illegal immigration rallies. See, y'all were confused. What Latino rally? Illegal immigration rallies. I attended illegal immigration rallies in D.C. recently, and I was very, very proud because I was out there, and there's a lot of Latinos. Like, they brought their families and everything, and I was like, man, y'all trying to get caught? And there was some Latinos that were chanting, I'm brown and proud, I'm brown and proud. And I was like, yeah, that's my people. But then there were these other Latinos that thought they were being proud, but they were just stating the obvious. They were like, I'm Latino till I die. Latino till I die. I was like, you don't have a choice. It's not like you can be, I'm Latino till next week. Waiting for something in African American to open up. You can't do that, man. But Donald Trump's trying to get rid of Latinos, man. Here's the deal, right? I understand the issue, but Donald Trump's got this great idea. Awesome idea. He wants to build a wall, right? He wants to build a wall. I get it. Here's the problem. Latinos, Mexicans, whatever you want to call us, when they cross the border, they risk everything. They risk being robbed. They risk being raped. They risk being killed. You think a wall's gonna stop them? You think they're gonna get to the border and be like, oh shit, they have a wall. What the hell, man? They have a wall. Hey, Jose, go back. They have a wall. Like, give Latinos some credit, man. Like, they've never seen a wall before? Like, they're gonna walk up and be like, oh shit, what the hell is this? What is it? It looks like the sidewalk, but in different direction. What do we do? Should we paint it? There's a hole right there, patch it up. And who's gonna build this wall if you send all the Mexicans back? The one American that still wants to lay brick? That's gonna take a while. You're gonna be like, man, we gotta bring these Mexicans back. And all I'm saying is, let's have better ideas. That's all I'm saying. Let's have better ideas. Right? Let's make the Mexican border like American Ninja Warrior. Put an obstacle course. If they pass it, fuck it, let them stay.
I went to the Women's March recently, and not the Not the sequel, not the one we just had, the first one. I went to the original. I ain't go to the remix, but I went to the first one. It was a beautiful time. It was a beautiful sight. It's like people came together from all walks of life for one common cause, and it was just amazing. It was also amazing to me because people came together from all walks of life and had awkward conversations, and that shit was very entertaining for me. Because, awkward, all walks of life, differences. Like a friend of mine, she was wearing a shirt. Her shirt said, Black Girl Magic. Someone walked up to her and said, oh, I like your shirt. I want to get one that says White Girl Magic. And so I was like, oh, you mean one that says privilege? I'm glad y'all found that funny because she did not find it funny at all. I thought I was going to die at the bar. I thought I was going to get killed by someone wearing a pussy hat and shit. So thank you guys for laughing. I appreciate that.
My back's been hurting, which sucks. I have found this to be true. And it's that if you tell someone your back hurts, they will tell you the sound that they would make if their back hurts. Like, I'll be like, yeah, man, it's my lower back. And they're just like, ah, ooh. And I'm like, exactly, but on me, though. But over here. It actually has been bad. I had to go to a physical therapist about it, and I didn't even know this was a thing. But it turns out the reason my back hurts is because one of my legs is considerably shorter than the other one. Yeah. I thought I pulled something. The guy's like, oh, no, dude, you're not injured. You're, like, ill-made. Like a freak. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks. And I was like, well, how does that happen? How do you get a leg shorter than the other one? And the guy's like, incest, probably. Somewhere in the old family line. And I was like, what? And he's like, look, it's not a huge... You're probably just going to have to get some special shoes, and, obviously you're not getting into the kingdom of heaven because you're an abomination unto the Lord. And I was like, right, okay. People keep freaking out that, machines are going to get so advanced that they're going to take all the jobs except the art jobs, which I don't think that's going to happen, but I think that would be great. Just as someone who's had to go around telling all my friends and family that I want to be a comedian professionally, like if the roles got reversed and I got to be like, you want to be an electrical engineer? Get your head out of your ass. Why can't you just learn a trade like dance or puppeting? There ain't nothing wrong with working with your hands. That's right. Yeah. My first job, actually, I worked at Goodwill. And I was not good at working there, but so the way Goodwill organizes anything that's not clothes is by color of the item. Right, so that made it tough, because that is not how people shop. Like, I never once had a customer come in and I'm like, hi, can I help you find something? And they're just like, red! I'm out of red. I'm like, oh. And I'm actually colorblind, so that made it way harder. And people always feel all bad for me. Oh, you don't get to see the rainbow. Blah, blah. No, good. I'm glad I'm colorblind. Those colors are a distraction. I'm trying to be a fucking boss. Not kidding, seriously. Was that yellow? Get that shit out of here. I'm trying to get rich. I didn't even learn all the names of them. I don't give a shit. First grade, all the nerds were sitting in the front of the room like, oh, the grass is, the fire truck's, I was in the back of the class eating pussy. Yeah. The only color that matters is blue, the color of money.
My girl hates her job. You know how I know? She tells me every day. She tells me every single day. Is it a different story? Nope, same damn story. Your girl ever complain about work so much after a while, you start hating her coworkers too? You don't realize it, then she says like their name or something. Let me tell you what Teresa did. Like, what the fuck did that bitch do? Was she wearing that orange thing with that nasty belt? She wears that every Tuesday. I can't stand her, baby. I got 5 draft emails about that bitch, for real. For real, let me show you. Leave my girl alone before I kill you. like seeing couples that love each other, two people, right? Not too much, just enough. Don't go crazy holding hands and telling secrets. When the cookie crumbles, shut up. Marginally happy is what I like. You know what I really love to see though in public? Couples arguing. It's my favorite sport. I love it. You gotta be stealthy. Some people, when they argue in public, they want privacy. It's like, are you listening in on my conversation? Yeah. Whole time. You ever notice how quiet it gets when you get in an argument in public? That's because everybody is listening to your argument. Everybody. It's your God-given right. You ever sit at a table and the next table starts arguing and you go, oh shit, it's about to go down over here. Buckle in for this. Ooh, he's really messing up. But your girl or somebody, she's on this side, so she don't hear. She keeps talking. And you gotta be like, hey babe, hey, shh, shut up. Just right now, listen, just right now, look. You notice I haven't moved for like 5 minutes, right? It's cause they're arguing over here. I'm gonna need you to shut up about your grandmother. She ain't dead, all right? She's sick, we'll get through it. Just relax for a second. I need to hear this. It's rude what you're doing, telling me about your grandmother while I'm eavesdropping on their conversation. It's about to get good over here. How do I know? Because he just told her to relax. Exactly. I guess I'm lucky. My girl she's cool. She wants me to eat healthy. That's the only thing. She's killing my fun. She comes up with stupid ideas and she says it with such happiness. I'm like, I guess I gotta, let's do vegetables all week. I guess you're so happy about it. All right, let's see. See what happens. She's worried. I had a health scare last year. It wasn't too difficult, but you know, women are better at that. Women are better at taking care of their health than we are, right? Women do like Kegels and shit. Kegels? I don't even know how to say it. But some of you started doing it right when I said it. Some of you started doing it, right? Here's the thing. You don't have to. Women don't have to do it. We do. Men are supposed to do it. It helps our prostates. Women do it. They don't have to, right? But they do it because they want to trick us. I don't know why they do it. I don't know why. I had a health scare, man. This is the only time men go to the hospital is when they have problems with their dick. It's the only time they go. Now, I was having problems. It wasn't full-on erectile dysfunction, but here's what was going on. My dick was borrowing blood from other parts of my body. Like, if I got hard, my feet would fall asleep. Scary, right? Like, I needed to be wherever I was gonna be to have sex, otherwise I wouldn't make it there. For 3 months, I'm dealing with that shit. By month 2, I would just lay in the bed if I got her. Just lay in the bed and summon my girl over. Come over here, come here. Like the Sultan of Brunei or some shit. She would get mad as hell. You're not gonna come pick me up? No romance? I'm like, I can't see out of my eyes. Just come on and...
Yeah. Sensitivity, boy. Stuff like you can't talk about religion freely either. In fact, I recently returned to Chick-fil-A because thank goodness the Supreme Court said that you can marry whoever you love, and I was like, well, I can't stop them now. And I went in to get my chicken, and I was pulling away. I had my spicy chicken sandwich, waffle fry combo, and I'm pulling away, and the young man, and they have amazing service, regardless of what amazing. Like perfect, and I'm pulling away, and the young man says, God bless you, and I was like, I didn't sneeze, but I knew what he meant. Like I knew, and we all know, but you can say that in the United States, you can totally say, God bless you, and even if you're not a super religious person or of that religion, you understand that person is wishing you well. From the depths of their soul, and the sweetest part of them, they are saying, have a great day. And I think that's an amazing sort of privilege in the United States, because if I work at Chick-fil-A, I certainly couldn't say to you as you pulled away, blessings of Allah be upon you, because that's a whole different experience. You're not getting that warm fuzzy, right? You're going to pull over and see if I magnetize a detonator to your gas tank. That's a whole other thing, but that's a privilege, And religion is difficult like that. It can be complicated, and sometimes you see it in things where it doesn't belong at all. The insurance industry is one of the devils that we have to deal with in adult life. And even they intermingle. There's so much I could say about the insurance industry that confuses me. For example, you buy health insurance. Your body's insured, right? Sure. Except your eyes and teeth, because fuck that. They're not going to cover that. That's separate insurance. You got to get separate eye and tooth insurance, which is ridiculous. But at some point, they were like, too high risk. We're not covering that because they're dicks, right? Listen to this. I got a letter in the mail from my insurance company stating that they could no longer insure my home because my address did not exist. Where'd they mail that letter? To me, in my mailbox, with an address on it, with a letter inside stating that that very address did not exist because they're assholes. They did a re-inspection on my house. They found some things they didn't want to cover. They came up with this bullshit excuse to get out from under my policy that I was honorably paying, right? And they're sneaky like that. Where does religion get involved is where they've got a clause called the Act of God clause. You heard of it? Act of God, people. In 2018, that an insurance company can include something like God inside of insurance. It basically says if a stiff wind blows and a tree falls on your house, that's because God hates you, and they're not going to pay for it. Act of God. That's what it says. So I looked into it. I said, this is unbelievable. It turns out it's one of the oldest clauses in the insurance industry. It goes back more than 2,000 years to a time I didn't even know they had insurance. Listen to it. One of the most notable times that the Act of God clause was ever enforced was roughly 2,000 years ago, right? There was a young couple named Mary and Joseph, okay? They had a baby out in the middle of the desert. A famous baby. Some of you might have heard of him. He's got a couple books out. And they were very happy to have the child, and until a couple of weeks later, they got a bill in the mail from their insurance company stating that they owed payment in full for the birth of their child. Well, they were concerned, but they knew they had maternity coverage, so they called their insurance company, and they said, hey, there's been some kind of a mix-up. We've got maternity coverage, and the lady on the phone said, sir, we know you have maternity coverage, but unfortunately, we looked into the birth of this particular child, and we can't cover it because, as it turns out, it's an act of God. And they were pissed. I tell you what, they were upset. Joseph, beside himself. First of all, he was like, ma'am, this is a very rude way for me to find out this isn't my child. Secondly, I'm not paying the bill. And she said, sir, you're going to have to pay. I'm sorry, but there's no leniency when it comes to the Act of God clause. We had a guy call in here a little while ago. He was vehement. He called in for days. His name was Noah. He had some boat damage from a storm or something like that. He called in here for like 40 days and 40 nights, and they never gave in to him. And he said, well, they're going to give in to me. And he slammed that phone down. He went over to Mary, and he said, Mary, they're not going to pay. We're going to have to sue. And she said, do it. Call the law firm, and he did. So he called the law firm of Goldberg, and Achbar. And they said, buddy, you got to get a paternity test. And he said, I know just the guy for a paternity test. So he called in the well-known Jewish man from the village over, a guy named Maury, right? So Maury comes over, and he gets the whole village together for this paternity test. And eventually he's like, Joseph, you are not the father, and the place went nuts. It was like mayhem in Bethlehem. There's like frankincense hanging from the rafters, and Joseph is bawling his eyes out, talking about how he's the victim here, and how could this happen to me? And one of the wise men's like, Joseph, you're not the victim here. Get off the cross. And he goes, I don't get that reference. He said, well, you will, because in 33 years, your son is going to sacrifice himself upon a crucifix as the king of the Jews. And he said, well, he's going to be the king. I'm going to raise him as my own, but I'm going to get crucifixion insurance. So he called back his insurance company, Wooden Cross, Wooden Shield, and they said, buddy, we offer crucifixion insurance, but in the case of your son, we can't offer it, because you know what's going to happen, and that's what we call a pre-existing condition. So it was a mess. Jesus Christ, that's a good joke.
Thank you.